Morning, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here with the Ruttenberg Library. Come to you this morning. We've been at this channel. We've been kind of on a roll on getting some of these book tags out of the way, and since time is of the essence, I figured I probably better continue to get some of these book tags done while I have time before life gets so busy I can't do really anything. So, sorry about my videos being kind of spotty. I know sometimes I go 3 or 4 days without posting, and then I post 2, 3, 4 of them all in one day or within 2 days. But that's just how life is, and I'm sure most of you experience very similar dilemmas. But anyway, several of these tags that I found has been over the last couple weeks. I've been finding them on the channels that I subscribe to and that I watch regularly, and it's been really fun listening to people do their tags, and I kind of wanted to get in on the fun, so I've been saving these tags and trying to think a little bit about my answers, and I think I'm ready to do a couple more. So the first one I'm going to do here is the recluse tag. I found this tag at the history shelf when Peg was doing this book tag, but it originated with Matthew at Mayberry Book Club, and I will put the links to both of those videos down below in the descriptions. But anyway, this looked like kind of a fun tag, especially considering, you know, the recluse tag with everything that's going on right now with the virus. You know, a lot of us are having to figure out how to be recluses instead of going out in public, and I think that I don't know if it's going to get better or worse. I know that Steve Donahue's pretty sure it's going to get worse, and so if we go with the advice of Steve, we need to make sure we have a good book collection so that as we become recluses, we have something to do. But anyway, so let's go ahead. This book tag, the recluse tag, only has 4 questions with it, so let's get this started. So what do you look for in the ultimate bookstore in under an hour? Now, many of you probably live real close to your bookstores and probably could sit in there for more than an hour, a couple hours maybe, browsing through books, which I would absolutely love to do. But my family lives basically at least an hour and a half, if not 2 hours away from major bookstores. And I can't do that because when we're out, you know, it's usually, all right, Dad, hurry up, get your books, or come on, honey, hurry up. So I battle the prodding stick of all the women in my household trying to tell me to hurry up and get done. They usually give me some time to browse, but it's not a lot of time, and understandably so, because they've got their stores they want to go to. But if I went to the ultimate bookstore and I had under an hour, what I like to do, because as I've shared with you before, most of my collection is used because I am a cheapskate. So when I do go to a big bookstore, the first place I go is the clearance shelf because I am a cheapskate, and it does not bother me any to buy books, marked down books. So I'd go to the clearance shelf. Obviously, I'm looking for, because if you've followed my channel at all, you know I'm a nonfiction reader for the most part. I would be looking for nonfiction books. I know when I go to Barnes & Noble, they usually have several clearance shelves, and they kind of take them and put them by genre, and they always have one for history. And I always like looking through there. Don't always find stuff, because sometimes it's just coffee table type books, and I don't look for coffee table books. For the most part, I don't. They don't fit well on the shelves. But the things I look for first are Civil War and American Revolution. Those are my two of my favorite genres, two of my favorite eras to read about. And lately, what I've been doing with my collection, because I've got lots of just overall histories, like the entire American Revolution or the entire Civil War. But lately, what I've been doing is trying to specialize my collection a little bit and try to find books on the individual battles or the individual people or individual events that happened within the entire war. I've been trying to become a little more specialized in some of these things, and so a lot of my books beginning to get, or my collection is beginning to get that way, where I've got specialized editions. So if we're talking about different things as we go through and take some notes in my history class and stuff, those individual things that we put in notes, I want to be able to say, yeah, I've read books on each of those events, so that, I just have that general knowledge and I can share some stories with the kids. All right, so question number 2. Who is your favorite recluse character or novel with a recluse, antisocial loner character? A novel with an isolated or claustrophobic setting. Now, my answer would have been Robinson Crusoe, but Peg took that. That's one of my favorite books of all time. She took that. So I'm going to go with, I'm going to go back to my middle school years, and I'd mentioned this book on an earlier video, the book Hatchet by Gary Paulson. That was such a fun book. I know it's a middle level book, but it was such a fun book. The main character, what is his name? Is it Brian? It's been a long time since I've read the book, but it was such a fun book. The main character's on a plane that comes down and crashes. I believe the pilot had a heart attack or something, and the plane crashes, and I believe it was in Canada, and he's out in the woods all by himself, and he has to survive. It's a survival book. And then Paulson wrote another companion novel or sequel to it, The River, and that was also a good one. But Hatchet was by far my favorite. It was the best. And I don't know if he was a recluse. It was more, he was a loner character because he was forced into the situation, but I think it still counts. So question number 3. With a week off with no obligations, what books would you like to read? I have a series of Abraham Lincoln books that I really want to get started on. I'm probably going to get started on them maybe even here real soon. The first one in that series, and I've mentioned them on this channel before, the Sidney Blumenthal books. It's supposed to be, I believe, a 4-part series. I have 3 of the 4. And The Political Life of Abraham Lincoln, a Self-Made Man, 1809 to 1849. So I really want to get started on these. And if I had a week off, and who knows, maybe in the future I will, I would really want to get this read and then read the other books in the series. Now, going into question number 4, what books would you actually be reading? I'd like to think this is the book, but sometimes I get sidetracked, as I've mentioned before on the channel. One of the things that often sidetracks me, especially this time of year because I'm going to be heading into baseball season, are baseball biographies. I like to go find those. Dollar Tree, sells books for $1, and they're brand new. And I oftentimes find baseball biographies there. And actually, I hadn't found one in a year, but yesterday my daughter and I were shopping for some stuff, and I found this one, Lou, 50 Years of Kicking Dirt, Playing Hard, and Winning Big in the Sweet Spot of Baseball. And so I found this one yesterday, and unfortunately, if I wasn't reading Abraham Lincoln, the one thing that really gets me sidetracked is baseball biographies. So I have this one, and then upstairs I have a couple others that I really want to read, and I can kind of get lost in these. One's on Babe Ruth. I have one on Lou Gehrig. I have 3 different ones on Jackie Robinson that I want to get going on. So anyway, these are kind of my. I just love baseball, and I can get lost in it, and I can read mindlessly with it for long stretches at a time. But anyway, if I was in the situation of being a recluse, these are my answers for the Recluse Tag. I hope you've enjoyed this video. As I said, I will link in the descriptions down below. I will link that video from Peg at the History Shelf, and then I'll link the original with the questions, the original from Matthew at Mayberry Book Club. I'll put those down there. If you like the video, please hit the thumbs up and maybe subscribe to the channel, and be sure to share it with others. And BookTube, it's been good talking to you. And as always, happy reading.